Hey YouTube, I may have made a discovery. I did these two looks today. My first time ever using the MAC Connect in Color Future Flames palette. This is look number 1, this is look number 2. For this look, we use these two columns. Let me get the glares off. These two columns are on this side. These two columns are on this side. Very sunsetty, love them a lot. But you know what? I was looking at these like, this looks like something else. Not all the looks, but this is messy. I've only had it stored and it's like dust everywhere. I may have discovered something. No, this shade is not dupable from in Future Flames. No, it doesn't have a purple. But some of these other shades, no, it doesn't have, you know, this bright pink. But let me hold them up side by side. Look at these. I am going to put these on my Instagram so it may be easier to see. But as I was looking through the looks, and I will put all the looks in the slideshow on Instagram, because these two looks on my lid right now, I'm like, this is Sunlit Seduction without the mess. Without the mess. And so we're going to do swatches. I should have did this as a live. We're going to do swatches. The price for this, I got it 30% off. It was like $90 and some change. No tax in Delaware and free shipping. This, I think it was, I want to say 40 something bucks from Ulta, and you can use rewards points, whatever, yada, yada, yada. We're going to do some swatches of the shades that to my eye look like they may be the same. And I'm not going to keep holding it up, but I will tell you, well, I guess I should, right? I'm just excited because if this is what I would mostly get from Sunlit, I might not keep Sunlit, even though I do really love how this shade performs and how it looks, and this one right here. So I would really miss those two, but would I miss it enough to keep this if with everything else in here I can get with this? And keep in mind, these are just the first two looks I did with this palette. So what I may do is a side by side. But with the swatches, I don't think I'll need to do a side by side. I'm excited, so let's just get to it. So what I'm looking at, I'm just going to start swatching. We're going to take Extreme Vermilion Dusk, this shade here. Yes, we're going to be doing forehead swatches. Extreme Vermilion Dusk. I don't know how many we're swatching, so if I run out of 5 head space, we will move on to the chin. And I'm going to take this shade here, which is, oh, my paper's upside down. That shade is Worldwide Wine. We're going to take that one. I was thinking almost Embark, but Embark is more brown. But we're going to swatch that still too, because that's this shade right here. The wine shade is this red you see right here. So it is red. It is. But if when you put them on, if they look the same. So Worldwide Wine, I am swirling, which is what I did with Extreme Vermilion Dusk. And we're going to put that right here. Ooh. Oh my. This is a little more burgundy-ish. It may look the same on the lid though. And also depending on your complexion and undertone. But these are close. We're going to do Embark just because that's this shade here, which there is not a brownish in here. And initially I thought these would be good companion palettes, because if you want depth for your Sunlit Seduction look, you could go into, I thought, this shade, but it looks similar to that one. But definitely Embark, or just any brown from anywhere else, or even this shade here, just to amp up a red. But then because this is so red, like you might not want to amp up a red. So we're going to take Embark, this shade here, which is more brown, like a brownish red to my eye, and we're just going to swatch this just because. And so you see what I'm saying, how this can really deepen up the look from Sunlit Seduction. This is the deepest shade in Sunlit. This is Worldwide Wine from Future Flame MAC. This is Embark. If this was in Sunlit, this shade right here, it would give you a lot more variety as far as either if you want to use it as a liner or as your outer corner just to deepen up a little bit. We're going to stay in this palette, in the MAC palette, because we're going to take Love at First Sight, this red right here. And we're just going to swatch it just to see against these other reds what it looks like. So we're going to just put that right there. Ooh, that went sideways. So that is what this one looks like. I'm making it wide because I want it to be straight. I'm just really excited because I wouldn't have thought it, but when I had purchased Future Flame and it was just sitting here, but then when I thought about it, when I started doing the Sunlit Seduction looks, I was just like, So that is that one. So what we're going to do now, that was this. So we're going to also swatch. I think that might kind of be it in a way. This has this is I think a shimmer or a metallic, and we're going to swatch that later, but right now we're going to go into Sienna Mystique, this shade here, just to see what it looks like next to this one, even though it is lighter than this, I think. So this is Sienna Mystique. I think these would be good companion palettes if you want to stay with the reds and pinks. That's Sienna Mystique. Sienna Mystique. Now we're going to go into Nude Rose, this shade here. And so there's not a lot of overlap, but because of how the shades show up when you put them together, it's just like, okay, wait a minute. So that's something to keep in mind too. Even if they don't look the same, you can get very similar looks. Like this, these two right here though, we're going to go into this one, Blitz Crimson Ecstasy. Even though this is a Blitz shade, we're going to swatch it because I want to see how red it is compared to this red. It looks the same except this one is just shiny. If you're all about the high shine, shimmer, shimmer, wet look, then you're definitely going to want the Celestial shades from Sunlit Seduction. We're going to go back to, what red was that? Love at First Sight. And we're going to swatch this next to Blitz Crimson Ecstasy, even though we swatched it already. But I just want to see it next to it to see how close the tones are, even though one is a Blitz shade and it's shiny and this one here is a matte. But looking at it like this, don't look up my nose. Now that I said it, you're looking up my nose. This angle, look at that. It is not much different. Right here it is, because you see the shine from this one you don't. But when you don't see the shine, you see like a satin from this angle. The shades are not that off. Oh my gosh. So what you could do, put this one all over the lid and put this on top just to amp it up. That's what you could do. But these two right here, ooh, 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 ooh. So I'm looking in here to see if we have pinks. I'm going to swatch this one, which is Coppering. And to me, it has a pinkish hue to it. That's this shade right here. This shade is La Vida Mocha. This to me is more copper. That's this shade here. But we're going to go into Coppering. And we're going to swatch this. Y'all, this, I'm just like, what? How the hell is this troll comparing Pat McGrath Mothership to MAC? Because I am. That's Coppering. Look at that shade. Wow. And we're going to go into Copper Dawn, this shade here. Don't let me find out. I can get similar looks without the mess. And so we're going to just put this here. This is Copper Dawn. Coppering from MAC, Copper Dawn from Sunlit Seduction. Let me look up here and see what they look like. They are different. Coppering is deeper in tone than Copper Dawn. They would look nice together though. But then it would be very monochromatic. I don't prefer monochromatic looks on me, but those shades, would they look similar depending on what you put it next to? If you're doing a gradient, is it going to blend in? And I do believe that they will. Now we're going to take La Vida Mocha, this shade here. Oh my gosh, I am just so friggin' excited. And we're going to put that here. So you see what I'm saying? This to me is more copper than coppering, which on my lid pulled a little peachy orange, which is what Copper Dawn swatches as on my forehead. So this one is La Vida Mocha from MAC. And now we're going to go into Hypnotic Bronze, this shade here from Sunlit Seduction. Oh my gosh. Ooh, and this is more, a little more reddish, almost seems to have a purple hue to it to my eye. But these are not the same, but it's still, is it going to look the same if you put them next to each other on the lid? Is it going to be that different? It definitely, if you put this all over the lid and this all over the lid, they're going to look different. This all over the lid, this all over the other lid, it's going to look different. But if you start, you know, doing your gradients, is it going to look the same? These two, I'm hella excited because at this angle, they're the same shade. Here, you can see the shine, and it is a brighter reddish tone where this is a matte. But like right here, and like right here, and like right here. And I do like how Blitz Crimson Ecstasy performs. A lot of people don't. I love it. But I'm just like, yo, these two are not far off. These two are not far off. Granted, one is a Blitz and is shiny, and one is a matte. These two, on the lid, they're going to look the same. On me, I'll tell you that. I'm looking in the palette now to see what else may possibly be a dupe. I could try Amber Lights. Was this, okay, no, this was from the MAC palette, because I was going to swatch that against Amber Lights, which is here, but that's in the MAC palette too. So I think that might kind of be it, unless, no, that's not going to go, because it's not going to look like this one or similar to that one. The last ones we're going to do, this shade here and this shade against this. I don't think it's going to be the same. I really don't, but we're going to do it anyway. So this is Skin Tints Radiance, and I do like this shade. We're running out of forehead, so we're going to put it down here. Skin Tints Radiance. Oh, I just went into Extreme Vermilion Dusk. So we're going to flip over to this side, back into Skin Tints Radiance. So this is just a quick video. That's why I didn't do the intro. Skin Tints Radiance. So it does have a pinkish hue to it, which is why I don't think it's going to look like either one of these from the MAC palette. So this is what's the pointillism? That's what this one is called. It's not going to look the same. It has a different undertone. Yeah. So this is a lot brighter. It doesn't have that pink hue to it. That's a pretty shade though. Look at that. That's on the inner corner here. So yeah, this is definitely more pinky. This is more yellow gold to me. And now we're going to go into Samoa Silk, which is that shade. It's not going to look like it, but I just want to swatch it because it's another light shade. And this is a matte. Oh, wow. Okay. I guess my complexion is Samoa Silk, because this shade I put for brow bone up here. That just blends in. I'm looking in. That's not going to be the same. Samoa Silk, because I'm looking up here at the pinks and it's not, but just for giggles we're going to see what it would look like next to Nude Rose. And again, if you just want really monochromatic looks, I think these would pair well together. So this is Nude Rose next to Samoa Silk. would be a nice gradient, or you can use this to blend out that one. So that's it we're going to do with both of these. So they do look different enough. These two can pass for the same. These two can pass for the same, except one is matte. These two definitely can pass. Yeah, so again, here they are. So I'm really thinking, like, I still think Sunlit is a keeper, even with the similar shades in the MAC palette, because how bright this shows up on my lid, a deep bright red. I love how this one shows up. But I was just surprised, like, okay, these look similar and without the mess. And you know what I want to do? Even though it's not shiny, I don't think it's going to show up shiny. We're going to take Amber Lights again, this shade here. And we're just going to put that on the cheek. We're going to just put that right there. We are a pain in the face. That's Amber Lights. We're going to take Astral Gilded Aura. That's not going to go. That's not going to go. Did we put that next to something? We're going to take Copper Dawn. We're going to take Copper Dawn. I forgot what we put this next to earlier. So we're putting that next to Amber Lights. It is different. This is Copper Dawn. This is definitely different. That's definitely different. Okay, we're going to go into Astral Gilded Aura. Chunky Monkey, not a chunky monkey, it's a baby chunk. A baby chunk monk. And we're going to put that on this side of Amber Lights. This, when I wear it, it shows up gold, even though it looks pinkish. But this is how it usually shows up on me, as gold versus the pink. But definitely in the swatch, this swatch is showing up pink. But when I swatched it on my forehead, when I did the initial swatches, it showed up gold. And I was like, okay. And so I think it just depends. And I will say my forehead leans olive. My cheek area leans neutral, even though I'm golden warm overall. So that may be why too. We're going to take this again. This is still Astral Gilded Aura. And we're just going to put this over here. And I can't really see it. Where did I just put it? Put that right here. So yeah, so it does still look a little different depending on where I put it on my face. And also, I have on the Esom face structure, shaper face thing, and I have on another bronzer, a blush, and a highlighter. So that plays a difference in how it's looking over here versus right here. It's just primer and foundation and setting powder. This is very interesting to me. Let me know if this was interesting to you. I do think I may do still one look this eye, one look that eye, but I don't really think that'll be that relevant, because that's just one look that'll be similar. You know what I'm saying? Like this without this corner, this shade right here, which is Worldwide Wine. That's this shade here. If I take this out, this does look like a look I did with Sunlit Seduction. So even if I did this on one eye and did Sunlit Seduction on the other eye, that's just one look. I did 9 with this palette, and then I paired it, I think, with 4 other motherships. And so, yeah, I'm not going to do this side by side because it's just one look out of the 9 I did with this, and so far just the 2 I did with the MAC one. But if you're wanting a similar color story as this without the mess, and you want to stay monochromatic, because this is an overall pink palette, this is overall just reds. You know, you have some, you know, lighter tones, you have the deeper tones for outer corner, and that's what I like about this one. I do like Sunlit too, but I'm still like on the fence, like in long term, am I going to keep it? I don't know. But I like how you still have the bright red, you have the matte red, you have this, which is deepens up nice, and so does this one. And so in that sense, it gives you more variety than only having this one deep shade. You know what I'm saying? Or if you want more, transition shades depending on your complexion. The only ones I see people using as transitions is this one and this one. And this is the only other matte in here. Whereas with the MAC Future Flame, you can use transition, depending on your skin tone. You have two options for inner corner highlight. This shade right here, as I said, is brow bone up here. So for me, it blends in and it would be a good blending shade. This shade, that's inner corner here. What did I put for inner corner this side? Inner corner here. This shade, that's inner corner here. And so you have more options with this one. And even between this shade and that one, it does still give you more variety. So it depends on what you want. If you just want more pinky and to stay more pink, you can do that with this. And if you want the celestial shades and sunlit, you have them. But for me, this does give more variety, even though it's still another monochromatic palette, because you have more shades you can deepen with. Excuse me for that glare from the light. You have more variety. You have more shades in here you can deepen with. You have options for your inner corner and for your brow bone. You have more options for your transition shade. The question is to ask yourself is it still going to look similar? The 9 looks I did with Sunlit Seduction, 3 of them look the same, which means we got 7 different looks out of that palette. I'm confident I can do that with this because there is more options in this palette. So this is definitely a keeper. It's not messy. I didn't have any fallout on my face. Everything in here performed really well. So I would say if you want sunlit vibes without the mess, if you don't want to use that bright red in there, that Blitz Crimson Ecstasy shade that's in there, excuse me, I would say get this one, because these two, the only difference is one is shimmer and one's not. So if you don't care about the shimmer high shine in that one shade, which I think I'm the only one, no, one other person I heard likes that shade, but everybody else didn't even like it, then I would say go with the MAC Connecting Color Future Flames, because you have more variety and you're going to get similar looks depending on where you place your shadows, and also depending on your complexion and undertone, how shadows will show up on you. But I'm excited. When I did these looks, I'm like, this is really nice. It looks like sunset. When I did this one, I'm like, okay, this is really sunset. But then as I kept looking at it, I'm like, this is similar. Again, minus this shade. This right here is similar to Sunlit, to the 3 Sunlit Seduction looks that I did that look the same. This is that look. This is that look. And even if you want to take out this shade, which is Embark, which is this rich shade here, you can get this with Sunlit. If you use that crimson shade, this would just be brighter. But you can get this look with that, with Sunlit. So I'm going to end this here because I'll just keep going on and on, because even seeing them, I thought, okay, similar vibes, good companion palettes, but then it would be all monochromatic. But then when I did the looks, I'm like, I'm going to pop out some swatches real quick. So let me know what you think of these shades. Definitely same, can pass for same. These two not pass for same, but depending on where you put them on your lid and what's next to it, they may look the same. These two the same, except one is brighter because it's shimmer. That is it. These are all different, but they're, you know, you have options with Future Flame on inner corner and transition. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on this. I do recommend the MAC one, price point, and for monochromatic reddish type looks and sunlit type looks. I'm sorry, sunset type looks. Definitely more variety in this one. If you just want pat and you do really like the bright red, I love how this shows up on me. I love how this one performs and how that shows up on me. If you just want those, I would say, if you just want these, I would say go with the Ritualistic Rose Quad. That's what I would say. I would say go with that quad and still get the MAC one. That would be my recommendation. That would be my recommendation. Yeah, I'm really going to go. Please do let me know your thoughts below. Let me know if you have either one of these, particularly if you have Future Flame. Let me know what you think about it. I think it's important just to have more eyes on it and to have more viewpoints on it, first impressions or otherwise, because MAC is still a good brand for eyeshadows. And yeah, seriously, for like the 7th time, I'm going to go. Do let me know your thoughts. I didn't do the intro. However, as always, self-acceptance, self-love, that is the Crazy Troll Nation way. Thank you, and you will see me soon.